So question number 2 is how to convince someone that does paid ads, Gmail, YouTube, search ads, and little content marketing and backlinks to add new source of some site and get the leads through a new source.
Yeah, I get the question.
Okay.
I understand what he's saying.
Can you
So
interpret it?
Yeah, yeah. All right, so he knows someone that's doing ads. He wants to tell this person, hey, look, there's another way for you to get leads other than what you're doing. This new source, this online marketing thing where you can go get organic and you can get into maps, you can get leads that way. He wants to know, how do I convince this person who only does ads to try something else?
Yeah, it looks like he's also talking about if you have leads that you can sell to somebody that's already doing ads too. I think that's the way I'm interpreting it as well. Hey, that's a great, BB, you should go watch the Lead Simplify webinar that we did. I think it's semanticmastery.com/lead simplify. But anyways, you should go watch that webinar because Mike Martin talks about the hybrid lead generation model. And, I've got clients that that are retainer-based clients, so traditional clients, right? They pay me a monthly retainer and I optimize their assets. But if I happen to have lead generation assets that, provide in their area that's within their service area that I, generate leads for, sometimes clients will even ask like, hey, I'll buy leads from you too. So it's not that you need to convince anybody. Remember, if you're trying to convince somebody that they need your service, you're talking to the wrong damn person. Like that's the thing, because then you're trying to do 2 sales, right? You're trying to sell them the idea that they need what you have, and then you have to sell them that you're the one to provide that service, right? So you got to sell them twice. And that's very, very difficult, and I don't recommend it. And that's, again, going back to the question we had earlier about filling your pipeline full of prospects. If you have a pipeline full of prospects and you talk to 10 of them and 6 of them, you're trying to sell them on the need for what it is that you provide, like you have to sell them that they need that to be first before you can sell them on you providing that, then like those are 6 people that you can disqualify very quickly, right? Because you're saying, you know what, you're not the best fit for me. Not that I'm not the best fit for you. You're not the best fit for me because you don't already know that this is good for your business. And I'm not saying don't try to educate people, but when you start to catch resistance from that, again, you have to sell them twice. In my opinion, it's the wrong type of prospect. And that's where, again, having a pipeline full of prospects is good. Doing inbound marketing is great because people have been exposed to you or your service or what you can provide, the results you can provide, before they contact you. So remember, an inbound lead, somebody already is aware of what it is that you do, and they're interested in you giving them a proposal or at least having a conversation with them, right? So you only got to make the sale one time as opposed to twice. So again, it comes back to, who you're talking to. So when it comes to, like, for example, I've got recently got a newer client in Fort Lauderdale area of Florida. And in our initial conversation, when we were, during the proposal process, right, when they were just a prospect and we were, I was talking with them, we did the discovery call like I always do. All this is covered in 2X Your Agency. But I did a discovery call with them, and during that discovery call, I mentioned to them, by the way, I also do tree service lead generation. If you're interested, while I'm working on developing your assets and your brand, building your presence online, I could also build some lead gen assets in your area that will be generically branded. But the leads that come in, I can sell to you. And they said, yeah, that would be great. So they were interested in both a retainer and a lead generation business model, like a hybrid of the two. And so that's why I'm saying, again, some people are going to be really open to that, or some business owners are going to be really open to that, and some aren't. And the ones that aren't, just don't bother. Don't waste your time. Go find some that are. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I see 2 things here. And I always like to talk about like my personal experience on things like this. Because I talked to someone not too long ago who was doing about 50 million a year on ad spend, right? So it's a little bit over 4 million a month. And the guy was convinced that there was no other way to make money online than to do ads, because he was getting a 3-to-1 return on. You can imagine how much he's doing a year, right? If he's getting a 3-to-1 return on what he's doing, so he's making about 100 million. And so when you get a person like that and they want to talk to you, but they're convinced that they're already doing what they're supposed to be doing. Like, but Bradley does it. I have to, if I talk to him, I have to convince him that there's another way. So first I have to convince him that there's another way. Then I have to convince him or show him that my way works. And I have to be able to show him how my way works. So you get into a multiple step thing where any step of the way you're going to run into a whole bunch of objections. The conversation gets heavy and it doesn't make sense because at the end, he's still going to be convinced that he's doing it the right way and that your way might not work no matter how much you show him. You have to find someone who's open to the idea first and foremost, who isn't already convinced that they're doing it and that there's no other way. And then this goes back to what I was saying before. It all depends on whether you're able to show the results that you can get. Look, man, you get me in front of anyone, and I mean anyone, and 9 out of 10, I'm gonna close that person because I can take them through a whole lot of shit that I've done, and I'm gonna give them a 90-day out. So there's really no reason to say no unless they were already looking to say no, because they're at least going to take that 90-day out. Look, 90 days. At the end of those 90 days, we'll see. Because then comes 6 months, and every 6 months, I look it over because I always want to leave an opening to fire the client. No matter how much money we're making, I always want that opening because I get tired of people. But this all comes from you being able to show this person, this is what I can do. These are the types of results that I can get. This is what I can do for you. Now, when you're speaking results, you're speaking money. And if this person is any type of business person, they're absolutely going to see the numbers, man. And so it doesn't even get to a hard close because by the time you get to when do we start, it's already, like just bill me, invoice, send me the invoice, or I'll cut you the check. If it's person to person, like it sometimes is, they just cut you the check. It gets really good, but you have to get to the point where the person's open, first and foremost, and where you can deliver the goods. Because if you guys can't, then you have to start figuring out how. Maybe your own lead gen, like I see maybe BB's doing, and show those. Look, I want to get these over to you. The person should be able to see profit in your conversation. You have to get them into that mindset rather than you trying to convince them that you can do what you say you can do.
Yeah, if you've got leads already for that particular industry, for that business owner you mentioned, baby, then why not send them a couple of leads. I do 5. I do a tree leads trial is what I call it. It's a tree leads trial for tree service contractors, and I allow them, I make them get on the phone with me. It's a brief conversation. It takes literally 5 minutes, but it's just so that I can have a quick conversation with them to make sure that they can speak English, or speak clearly, I should say, communicate well. If they're really terrible, I don't want to send them to leads that were, to go provide, to customers' homes for leads that I generated anyway. So I require a phone call, but it only takes a couple minutes, and I add them to my Lead Simplify system, which does the lead distribution for me. And I give them 5 leads for free. And then I tell them, look, once the 5th lead has been delivered, I'm going to call you again to discuss continuing the service. And that's how I do it, because a lot of the times people say, like the guys, the contractors that I talk to will say, well, I bought leads before and they were shit. I'm not sure that and I just tell them, look, I'm going to give you 5. No harm, no foul. You don't want them after that. It's not going to hurt. Why not take 5 free jobs? And the reason I do that is because I tell them, look, my goal is that you close at least 1 job out of the 5 leads that I send you. And if you're any good at all at closing, you ought to be able to close at least 1 job, right? Out of the 5 leads that I sell you. That means you're going to make some money. And once you've made some money from the free lead that I sent you, you can reinvest that money in purchasing leads from me. I hope that you spend that money purchasing leads from me. So it's my way of like earning their trust. And so I for me, that works really, really well. So instead of trying to convince them, I just tell them flat out, look, I'm not here to convince you or sell you on anything right now. I just want to verify your information so I can send you 5 leads. What you do with those leads is up to you. At the end of those, I'm going to give you a call back and see if you want to continue the service, at which point I'm going to ask for money. Is that fair? That's what I say. And it's a very short, brief conversation, and it tends to work well. So.